feel like it's only right that I finally do a studio tour. So we're going full crib style, and I'll show you and the people out there what it is that's in my studio and yeah, basically where I do my thing. The world's heaviest door is about to get opened, and we will go into the bank vault and see my studio. This is my studio. Welcome. This is where I actually do the paintings. So I've got my little IKEA trolley here to hold all the paintings and what have you. I've got the little setup for the iPad, which in the beginning I used to have to transfer from paper, so I was actually just working from paper. I'd stick up the paper image, have it printed out, stick it on the wall, and then paint from that. But having an iPad is literally a game changer because you can obviously zoom in, zoom out, change images and all that kind of stuff. Whilst I'm painting, I often listen to music, so that properly gets me in the mood. So over here, that plays into my just a little speaker here, but because it's so echoey in here, it sounds really good. It can also get quite cold because this is an old bank vault. We're underground now, so I actually have the temperature gauge here. And so that's 24 degrees at the moment, so that just tells me where we're at roughly. I like to keep it quite warm in here. Little globe, world domination, one day. The plan was to almost have like a little bit of a gallery, so you can fit 5 paintings up on these walls. So the idea being is that I want to make sure that I'm doing my job kind of selling the painting. So my plan is never to have more paintings than that on the wall. So hopefully all my other pieces have sold. And if they haven't sold and I've got like pieces lying around, like, I don't know, say that piece over there, over my desk, I'm like, I know that I need to put a lot more into kind of sales and actually marketing myself to make sure that I keep the stock that I'm holding as low as possible. So there are levels, and I think that, yeah, sooner or later in the next year or so, hopefully I will upgrade to a bigger studio. Just because, you know, as like, even with filming and stuff, like, we're gonna need a little bit more space to kind of work, and also as more and more customers start coming to the studio, I wanna be able to facilitate that. In terms of keeping like a generic style or look, I'm gonna keep everything nice and white. I like it to be clean. Like the fact that this floor is like a little bit like dirty and a bit like kind of scuffed up, I don't like that. I like to be clean, I like to be precise, and I like to be perfect in everything I'm doing. So that in essence will be coming along to the studio as well. We've got one of the pieces for Jaden here, which I'm halfway through at the moment. You've got this, which is when I did when I was 17, and I loved it so much that I'll never sell this painting. Back in the day when I was creating these kind of paintings, this painting here is probably about 85 centimeters by 85 centimeters, so it's a lot smaller. And like when I was starting out, I was working like at the end of my bed in my parents' house, so there wasn't much room to maneuver sort of thing. Like even that is quite a big painting size, or you know, in itself. You tend to find that most stuff's kind of like 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters or smaller, that people generally can kind of host on their walls. So this was quite big for the time, but I think like it kind of does hit home when I'm working on paintings that are kind of like this size now, which is 150 centimeters by 150 centimeters, because this kind of thing would just literally never ever fit in my bedroom anymore. So it has been like a bit of an evolution, and sometimes I take it for granted that I've managed to get this studio. And I know a lot of artists who even message me and are like, oh my god, you're so lucky, and you kind of take it with a pinch of salt. But it's like, you know, when you see the kind of scale that I was working on to like now, yeah, it is kind of, we've come a long way so far, you know? So yeah, with the increasing like size of paintings and stuff, I've been able to, I guess, charge more. I guess the main increase in my price has been driven by, I guess, demand, do you know what I mean? Because the way I always saw it was like, once I couldn't handle the demand, say at like £1,000 a painting, I then put it up again, and then you get to a point where people you're trying to find that sweet spot, aren't you? And then you get to a point where no one wants to pay for your work at that price, which is not a place you want to be. The kind of prices I charge now, when you're into the thousands, it kind of, you feel justified in as to why you can charge that. Like, you've got bills to pay, you've got rent to pay, you've got electricity to pay. Do you know what I mean? Like, you think a bit more, I always think a little bit more business-like about it. So, yeah, it's helped more mentally get it in my head that, no, my artwork is worth at least, at the very least, this amount, because there is certain things that go into being able to be in a position where you can produce a painting at this kind of size and scale. Jesus. Maybe let's not do that. This is often where you'll see me packaging up my prints, and so I will come over here and basically I had to custom make this table. It's a little bit dirty, so it needs a bit of a clean up, get rid of some of these paint marks, but I had to custom build it. So this table is just a normal dining table, but then I had to put these wheels on it, and I basically screwed them into the bottom. It took about 2 days to do because it's solid oak. So to raise it up so that it's at a level where when I'm signing stuff, I'm at the perfect kind of height. So, see what I mean? You're kind of working at a decent height. So yeah, this is where everything gets packaged up. I keep my tubes just under my table. These bad boys are the tubes that I get. I can't actually remember, but I will link in the description the company that I use, because they're amazing. Really good quality of tube, and I thought the black kind of looks really nice as well. Looks really sleek. So yeah, that's them tubes. These paperweights. Now people often comment, what the heck are these? So basically, when I have a print and I get it from the printers, I often have to unroll it and then put it down on the actual surface. So we've got these custom paperweights that have been made up for me, and there's a couple more over there. So 4, that will just lay it down, and then from there you're able to, like, you know, then sign the piece and then get it rolled up. Okay, so swiftly moving on. First things first, you probably don't see this much on my Instagram or socials, but I have this fan. And it's the most useful thing because when I'm up against a deadline or something like that, I often whack that on to be able to, especially when using acrylics, to be able to speed up the drying process, just so that at least that it's kind of touch dry sometime. And then I was also saying about the fact that this place doesn't have, obviously it's an old bank vault, so it doesn't have any windows or anything. But that is so that I can control the light in here, and so I've got this strip light that goes obviously down the centre, but more importantly, these softbox lights, which by the way are just from Amazon. Definitely drop me a DM if you do want the old link to it. But yeah, these are a lifesaver because they just keep like a nice constant daylight light in here. And then this is where we plot world domination. This is where the brand deals go down. I've got a few of my supplies in these drawers. Keep my iPad, notepad, and all a little bit of Drizzy Drake. I should probably get rid of this. An ex-girlfriend gave this to me, so yeah, we don't like that anymore. As well as sending emails on this laptop, I also use it to project my images onto canvases over there. So this feeds through into my projector. And this bad boy sits on the edge of here, and then I project from here over to there. That is how I trace around to start my paintings. Every good artist needs a good coffee, although not from Costa, because it's terrible. Right, okay, cool. So lastly, you have, we'll call this the supplies section. So this is where basically I keep literally all of my supplies. On this side we've got the old resin, if you need some resin. We've got varnish, if you need varnish. A couple of paints. And then a whole bunch of acrylic paints in there. Change of clothes, just in case I get all dirty and stuff like that. And then, most importantly, from over here, we have this quote. And I kind of use this just as a backboard usually, so I don't get paint all up the walls once I'm doing my flicks and stuff. But I love having this in my studio because it is literally my favourite ever quote. Have faith, never give up. So when you're struggling, I kind of look at that and yeah, it kind of keeps us going and stuff. So So yeah, that's that. But I think you've pretty much seen everything in my studio now. So I'm gonna get myself a little coffee and say peace out.